Awesome. All right, everyone. Hi, my name's Allie. For those of you who have not met me yet, I was recently announced as a new team member on the SAP Community teams a couple weeks ago, actually exactly a month ago, to the day. So really excited to join the community and work with all of you and continue to network and see what each other's interests are and all the engagement that happens here. Love to see all the cameras on here. It is a networking event just as much as it is a learning event. So feel free to pop your cameras on so we can see everyone's pretty faces while Ervin and Bernhard present to us. And with that, also feel free to pop in your community profile link so we can all follow each other, especially me as I'm a little bit newer to it. So I want to be able to follow all of you. Please pop that in there. I'll throw mine in right now. But awesome. So today we have Ervin Solike and Bernhard Luca here to present from SAP Support. They're one of the bigger contributor groups to the community, and I think they're really excited to share the processes and how you can best leverage the community today. So thank you both for being here. Bernhard, an SAP champion and also the product family head for digital core sales and procure. And Ervin is a very active community member, one of our moderators. And he is the business lead for SAP Community at Product Support Technology and Business Transformation. So with that, I'll let you both take it over, and there will be time for Q&A at the end.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks very much for the warm welcome, Ellie. Welcome everyone to the call in the name of Ervin and myself. So we want to talk about the SAP Community and SAP Support, and there are many, many connection points, not only myself and Ervin. Maybe Ervin, just jump to the next slide. So few agenda points only. We want to talk a little bit about the SAP QA in the community, a bit about the blogs, where actually we use this area as an information channel so that we can inform and enable everyone to use the newest tools and features also of SAP Support. And we want to take this as a kind of trampoline then to jump into some of these features that maybe some of you have not yet heard about, but we think can help you a lot to be more efficient and effective when you interact with SAP Support. And we want to finalize with the link here to the product support accreditation program to then hand over to Q&A and wrap up. We will rush a little bit through the slides so that we have more time for the demo. I think this is much more impactful, as well as for the Q&A. Yeah, so one important area where support and community are kind of entangled is the Q&A area. And the main reason is actually many customers and many partners can find a lot of stuff in the community where they maybe in the past have used the incident channel to get an answer on a certain question, to get more clarity about something, to know where maybe to put which user exit to use, and so on and so forth. These are all questions that we are happy to answer as long as we can out of product support. But on the Q&A in the SAP community, first of all, sometimes you can have an even faster answer. In many areas are very, very active. And secondary, these answers, as you know, are public. So it's a one-to-N information, while our incidents are just answering to the S user that put the request forward. This is why we would strongly recommend check if you find maybe help immediately in an existing answer, or otherwise create a new question in the Q&A area. From product support, actually we are active. We of course focus on incidents. This is where sometimes or many times only from product support or AIS or development we can really solve the issue. But we have a kind of 10% of the traffic that is going on Q&A is coming from product support engineers. We look for example, sometimes questions that are for a longer time not answered, and then we step in and try to answer then these longer open questions. And we want to step up this also in the next year. Ervin will speak a little bit more about this. Good. maybe move forward again. Yeah, this is already the view from inside. And here I would like to hand then over to Ervin to explain a bit more what we do internally with the SAP community, and then also inform about the blogs and the support tools. Ervin, all yours.
Okay, hi everyone. Thanks again having me. As Bernhard said, we try to help our customers by contributing on community, but at the same time, we also would like to help our engineers. And I would like to show you here just a screenshot about a tool we developed internally. So this is rather like an FYI information. Maybe it's still interesting to you. With this, we would like to minimize effort for our engineers, because what we are doing here is basically we are bringing community to the engineers. So, and basically this application knows the engineer. They don't even need to configure anything, since we know their expert areas. Since they are working on incidents on a daily basis, we can also map those expert areas to community tags, and therefore we can show relevant content to our engineers, which is really great. So they can jump right in and where they can provide value. So what you can see here, it's an application where on the left-hand side, we are listing relevant unanswered questions. So it's important if you're an SAP Cloud Platform engineer, then you will see such related tags on your screen, and clicking on these questions, which are basically leveraging the RSS feature functionality, we can display unanswered questions and provide an answer. And as for the blogs on the right-hand side, again, relevant content. Here we can stay in the know. We can read latest blogs from our favorite developers, for instance, even can filter for them. So we don't even need to search content. We are bringing the content to the given engineer. So, and this way, minimizing effort for everyone. And I just moved the slide because we are also active on SAP blogs, as Bernhard mentioned. I would like to draw your attention to the support services tag. In case you wouldn't know, this is where we are active the most. Here you can see what is our strategy, what kind of offerings we can provide to you, what are the latest tips and tricks when you, in case you would like to interact with support. So I listed here a couple of latest blogs. You can also see some screenshots here about those. As you can see, Bernhard is also very active, telling news about expert chat or the support log analysis and many more. And perhaps this is a good segue to the next slide, where I actually would like to demo to you about some of these. Let's start one by one. We have a support assistant, which is basically a guided experience helping you to create the perfect incident. The second one is a support log assistant. This is basically a standalone tool for customers where they can analyze logs. Normally, customers are opening incidents, sending us log files, we start analysis, but why don't we just automate all this and provide you the solutions with the help of this tool? I'll show you this in a second. And last but not least, guided answers. This is a troubleshooting guide, kind of a decision tree. It's a typical, like a phone conversation in a written or a form as an application. I also show you how you can quickly find solutions for your problems without eventually having a interaction with a support engineer. So I already prepared here a couple of things. Let me see if how I can get out of here. I'm going to first show you some screenshots. So when the customers are opening incidents, then this is what they usually see. This is the launchpad, the report and incident form where they enter their S-user ID, a couple of other data, and then as soon as they click on the product area, and selecting a product like SAP Cloud Platform, for instance, in this example, then the so-called support assistant kicks in. You can also read here on this pop-up what this is about, but when you start it, then you actually have a conversation with a kind of a chatbot where you can answer certain questions. And I think this is really useful because we anyway will ask basic questions from the customers at the first interaction, but why don't we save this step? Why don't we have this conversation in an automated way? So as soon as the ticket is opened, we have already sorted out a couple of questions and saving time for everyone this way. And not only that, but let me just explain what this is about. So on the left-hand side, you can see basically a discussion between you and us. And on the right-hand side, we constantly can offer, in a context-sensitive way, solutions. At this point, we can just refer to a general guideline because we don't know yet what your problem is about. But notice that since you selected Cloud Platform, we can actually determine the component that would be the best. And this is really useful because you don't need to rack your brain as a customer. What would be the best component? And that eliminates also possible ping-ponging between customers and SAP. So let's say I click on login and access because that's my problem. And then you can see that on the next slide already we know that this is maybe then some kind of security related issue. So we can also determine related component and provide now, instead of a general guideline, a security related, maybe login or access related guidelines. And I just fast forward a little to save time. You enter a couple of data by clicking on buttons, but in certain cases, we also ask you to enter some data into an input field. And notice that on the right-hand side, again, constantly we are offering even more and more content as we know more about your problem. So now we can provide you KBAs, further troubleshooting guides, and more. And at the end, we provide, once you reach the end of this experience, this guided experience, we can offer a couple of KBAs again. You can also help us to upvote or downvote. And once you click on continue, then the magic happens because the incident is actually filled out already completely. So you only need to eventually attach a couple of log files if you wish, specify priority, etc. But the most fundamental questions are already answered by you. So this way, we are really saving a lot of time. And then you can review and submit an incident or start any other channels like Schedule Expert or even chatting with us. I think that's it for the support assistance. I can highly recommend everyone to use it because it makes life just easier. And I just jump into the next one, which is the log file analysis. We developed this tool again to save some steps for you. This is available publicly. And clicking on this Add Files button, you can upload actually a couple of files. I'm going to pick these two as an example. And then as soon as I did that, and by the way, there are also certain files, maybe I go back and I'll show you if I add intentionally something that is clearly not a trace file. We want to transparent with you what are the files we cannot analyze, but here you can see on the top what we can. And clicking on the scan files, the analysis starts. Basically, we are downloading the analysis rules from SAP, and then we see what kind of errors we can find in these trace files and what solutions we can offer. And while it is analyzing, I want to tell you that no data is going to be sent to SAP. Everything is happening on your local machine. And now, as you can see, the analysis is completed. And you can see here that these were the error messages we have found in your log files. And right next to it, you can see also the solutions. And just look at this one, for instance, IPS job phase error 401, and boom, there you go. There is a related KBA. Clicking on it, you can see it exactly addresses your problem. So it can be really, really powerful and saving a lot of time. You can also see what kind of log files we can analyze. And again, you can get there from the main screen. And this is really useful because you know where these are located, what is the purpose of this file. It's a great collection of what trace files are available, what we can look into to help you. So if I just move on to the last demo quickly, and we can get back to these topics later. I just want to be mindful on the time. This is basically a decision tree, a troubleshooting application. Again, similar like a conversation, but instead of doing this via phone, you can do this as a self-service with the help of this tool. In this example, again, I'm going to show you SAP Cloud Platform. And let's say you have a login access issue. So you can select here the categories. Maybe you have some services problems or entitlements and quotas, you name it, or security problems. Let's try this one, login and access. We try to narrow down the problem step by step here. So we constantly move towards that to a point where we can actually say something. So here we still would like to raise a couple of questions, like whether you have login issues with, let's say, the cloud platform cockpit. And then we provide a couple of information so you can easier decide whether this is really your problem, showing you some screenshots. And then you can move forward again. Let's say the question is, are you able to access the cockpit? No, I can't because I see this error message. Then at this point, we can already actually give you some solutions in form of KBAs or in any other form, like referring to help documentation from product documentation. And you can anytime go back or use this navigation path too. And then let's say take another path, yes. Then at this point, we cannot provide a solution because the case isn't obvious. We need to raise further questions. Let's say I have an issue with my sub account. We again show some screenshots so you can easier decide. And then if I click in no in this case, then again, we reach the terminal point where we can give recommendations, what could be the solution here. And at this point, you can help us clicking on this solved my issue if it did. So we will know that this information is useful. And if it isn't, then again, you can help us this way. And eventually at this point, you can also go to different directions, starting a chat if you still need solutions. And you can find here many more channels to use. Plus, you can also give us some feedback in case you find some incorrect content anywhere or whether you're happy or unhappy with the content. So, by the way, this is only the SAP Cloud Platform example. If you go to Home, then you can search for further other guided answers. As you can see, we have roughly 800 such trees. So this is where I take a quick look at the slide deck again, because I think Bernhard would like to show you some more.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take over. Let me know. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Shared by myself. Okay. Oh, I don't have presentation mode. I will just go on like this. So here's where Ervin left. And of course, you might ask, okay, how do I know about all this? Yeah, we gave the answer at the beginning. Stay active on the community and you will get this block by block every time when we release some new tool or feature. We will inform about this in the blog section of the SAP community. And there are just two more things that I wanted to share with you. I don't want to talk about the normal CIC or hotline interaction, just as a reminder that this is there 24/7. But there is also a new escalation channel only for high incidents reserved, where you can call a manager. Well, you can schedule a call with a manager whenever you think it's going maybe into a wrong direction, either because of the processing time or maybe because there is a misunderstanding, not the right communication effort. Then you can just go to the incident and schedule a 15 minutes call with a support team manager, or even sometimes with myself, manager of managers, that will help you as much as it's in our hands. To close off little by little, the last point here, there's another, let's say, more comprehensive way, of course, also to catch up with everything that has been rolled out by product support. It's called the Product Support Aggregation Program. Maybe let's see this in the browser here. Let's see if the session is still active. Can you see the browser?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so you see a kind of explanation, but basically what I wanted to point out is that you see on the bottom here 3 modules. It's modular, and you can even within the modules, it's stepwise, step by step. And at the end of these modules, there is a little assessment, just questions and answers. And in case of answering the majority of the questions right, you get also a training badge that is also shared on the SAP community. So there's also a connection. When you got this accreditation certified, this is visible on the SAP community. This is a look into one of the modules here, self-service and incident prevention. And you see on the left side, in my case, for example, I just did the first step here about the product knowledge. This is basically that you attend a very small video, here 2.5 minutes, and then you even get the answer, the questions for the accreditation right after. You can check your knowledge here, and these are also the questions that then are put up again in the overall assessment exam. One of the nice things also here, once you have done this certification, you get a refresh once per year with all the delta. You get a notification that the delta is ready, and then you do only the delta so that you are up to date with what happened within a year within SAP Support. Good. 16:25, that was really fast. But as said, we wanted to leave space and time for a Q&A session while we are opening here. And I think, Ellie, you can maybe also help us with the moderation in case there's any need. Of course, you can just unmute and talk to us. You can also put in the chat. Here, I just wanted to go to this last slide from our side. Our key takeaways or strong suggestions for everyone. When you have kind of an issue, a request in your project or with production, just do a first step and think about, is it maybe something that is not really bug related or where documentation is missing? Then I would recommend to give it a try on the Q&A in the community. You might find a solution. Again, many parts are very active. Otherwise, you can contribute, of course, also there with answers to others, helping others. This will also make that you yourself will receive more answers. And if you don't find the content that you need, then you can create a question here in the Q&A part. And I would strongly recommend to activate the notifications for the support services blocks, because then you will really, every time we roll something out, get this notification and the explanation in the blog here. Yeah, maybe leaving space for breathing.
Yeah, any questions? Maybe can you pop that link to the accreditation program in the chat so people can just click right there? Be helpful.
This is a very good point.
Great.
You can see the screen, of course. Where can I now go? Yeah. I'm stop sharing now, going to the chat. Maybe Ervin, if you want to share again. Okay, there are questions. So I'm putting now here the link, first of all, to the accreditation program from Margit. Will there be a notification once the community changes? Maybe you can.
Yeah, because sometimes when you are in the community, then you might mark down, this is the S4 community where you post a question, and I will not say 1 week later, but sooner or later, sometimes they do not vanish, but it seems that things change due to agility or also because of the branding change. And now I wonder, will there be a notification or can I sign to a notification?
Thank you for the question. I must admit, I don't know very well. I don't know, Ervin, if you...
Sorry, can you summarize again quickly? Because I was occupied with sharing my screen.
Oh, sorry, Ervin. Yeah, the question was that, I don't know if you referred to a question, Margit, or to the community itself, that the community changes its name, because I know there are a number of communities that are still separated from scn.sap.com or
Yep.
community.sap.com. There is a project now going on for a number of months, I think, which is progressing also to bring these communities back again into community.sap.com.
Okay, that is good answers. Then that means patience, and sooner or later there will be one family.
If you have a specific question for maybe one or a community where you are especially active or that is of value for you, maybe you can drop us a mail, and then we can even try to find out the specific timestamps or milestones. But there is, I don't know it by heart, but I know that this project is ongoing to integrate these separate S/4HANA Cloud communities.
Yeah, I think
Thank
this is
you.
called the one SAP community. I think this is a question perhaps rather to the SAP community folks, but indeed there is a harmonization project in progress. You can find some more information about this on the moderator gem, as far as I'm aware of it. And I think there's a separate tab about the one SAP community initiative. I think that might be helpful.
Yeah,
but of course, anyone else from community peers, please feel free to step in, because I fear this is not rather for community, not really a support related question. But
yeah, I think any of the other community folks feel free to step in, but you pretty much covered the efforts that we're going through. Work in progress, but we're looking to have some consolidation happening among all the communities.
Yeah, our judgment was that it had more disadvantages than advantages to have these separate communities, especially also in S4, in the S4 area, where at the end the core business processes, there are still a lot of similarities between the different deployment options. So there was really a stronger advantage from bringing things together.
Yeah, not to mention the fractured user experience it causes when a customer is eventually have to use multiple of these communities, jumping from here to there. These are slightly having different rules of engagement and all these things. So I'm looking forward for this too, to make it happen. Do you have any questions, for instance, to these offerings I explained and demoed about, or the scheduler manager eventually, or the accreditation program? Do you see the value? Are you also promoting eventually to your customers, or did you use these already? I think these are really powerful and useful tools to make things easier, reduce effort and time.
Definitely. Anyone out there? Oh, Bernhard, thanks for posting those links.
I'm wondering if there is something in the chat.
I'm posting the most common links here just for convenience of the participants, so that you don't have to look them up.
Yeah, any last questions? I think these links will be helpful for everyone to have. Yeah, last call for questions, comments. Bernhard, Ervin, I think you wrapped it up. Thank you so much.
Well, not really. It is just that any questions if you have about these, what we have presented today, then feel free to reach out to us. I think if I go to the last slide, then these under these links you can find our contact details. We are happy to answer any questions if you have some later. But yeah, if you have some thing to share about these, I would really happy to hear, because I'm curious what feedback you have about these tools, whether you use these offerings or perhaps these are new to you.
Yeah. But also share your experiences on the community. So we definitely, it's already in our strategic plan also for 2021 from product support side to be even more active in the community. I mean, in the areas where I am, let's say, more related to, I think 80% of the questions are actually answered in a reasonable time. So we are very happy about this, but I know that we do not cover everything, and some questions are there maybe for a longer time. So this is why we want to step this up in a, let's say, of course, moderate way, because we have always the delivery to customers with critical high or very high incidents. And again, some of them are, of course, pure product issues. This is our first focus. But then again, the better, the more we can contribute also to the community, the better.
I just recently tried using the expert chat again.
Mm-hmm.
And I set up a meeting for tomorrow, and I provided all the information. And then it turned out that we don't need the expert chat because the ticket was looked at very quickly.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
opened the connection. And then the information was that it cannot be solved via an expert chat because it's not just customizing. It will need some more work and somebody else to look at. So the ticket was quickly forwarded to development. And I already had back the information that a correction will be provided.
Very good.
But I really like that it's a lot faster than when you just create a ticket and you wait, especially if it's just medium or low priority, as in this case.
Yeah.
So the option with the expert chat comes in very handy.
Thanks, Bärbel. I would actually, as you said, whenever there is expert chat available, I would recommend to use it, except you have a very busy agenda, because on average a session takes 30 minutes. Some are much faster, or sometimes, as you said, if it's clear that it won't bring progress, then we even don't do the session maybe. But in general, it takes on average 30 minutes, and 60 to 70% are actually solved in the chat interaction. So this is the big value compared to creating an incident and having it waiting. Even if it's just waiting for 8 hours, it's 8 hours lost. Again, except you cannot afford to have this 30 minutes in your agenda. Then, of course, it's easier for you to throw the incident over the fence, to say it in that way.
Yeah, but you have to provide the same information anyway.
True.
So from that perspective, it's not more labor intense or time intense.
That's true. Yeah. And sometimes just a tiny piece is missing that maybe didn't occur to you, and then the support engineer can directly ask, so what is the customizing setting for this reserved stock or something like this, and you can provide it. Maybe it didn't occur to you that it was related. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think it's a very good point that there are various channels out there. Many customers are still somehow sticking to incidents, but it is not necessarily the best channel, not the optimal channel. And we would like to provide in future more and more such channels, eventually as an opti-channel. So we can provide the best, the most suitable one that can help, that the most ideal for the given problem. Because I don't think that the answer for a problem is always an incident. As you said, sometimes chat is quicker, even sometimes going to the community is way quicker. If you have a basic question, then why opening a lengthy incident and start this conversation with support when you can just sort out things quickly on other channels like community, or eventually ask an expert peer. I don't know how much you have heard about the channel as well. That's also available today for a limited number of products. But so long story short, I think we need to offer as many channels as possible, but such channels that are the most optimal for the given problem.
Yeah, what
and
I usually
interconnect these also. You know, when you stop one channel, then eventually you can start another one in a way that all what you have entered already as a data is transferred to the next channel. So really acts as a
yeah, what I often do is to ask a question first on community. And then if after a couple of days I don't get a response, then I create an incident, or I try to get it, I don't know, addressed via an expert chat. but then I refer to what I already put into the community, because the information with the screenshots and everything is all there.
Absolutely.
Right.
And this is actually one reason why we also would like to be more active on community, because we understand, we also seen this pattern that customers try to use community because it's a lightweight system. You can get answers quickly, but if they don't get answers, they might eventually turn to us and open an incident. And if we are active on community, we might eventually help and sort out things quickly. Yep. That's good.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bernhard and Ervin. This was extremely insightful. I think everyone on the call can attest to that. As a reminder, we do virtual tours with community members every first and third Tuesday of the month. So we have our next one coming up on December 15th with Johan Bachleifner. You can check the full schedule here. I'll post the link in the chat on the community calls page. And then I'll also go ahead and post the registration link for the next call with Johan. But thank you everyone for joining. Ervin, Bernhard, great stuff. And
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Looking forward to another one.
Yeah, definitely.
Different stuff. Okay.
I hope everyone has a good rest of their day.
Thank you.
Thank
Stay safe,
you.
everyone.
Thanks.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.